RB42s. Anyway, so Dan and I have been working, I would say tirelessly, but we're pretty fucking tired. Tiredly. Box here with a bunch of shit hanging out of it. That's terminating. So this is the two circuits. One circuit's going to run everything in the shop with a 20 amp. The other circuit is being... This is for the smaller air conditioner.
The box on backwards.
What? What?
See where the conduit thing's exiting?
Oh, that?
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll just...
It doesn't go that way.
We'll put another fucking hole out. Anyway.
What about this one?
Leave it in. Who cares? I'll hang my fucking laundry on it. Anyway, this here, outlet there. Then we were going to do an outlet there, but now we're not. We're just going to put an outlet in the box. And we're going to have one outlet go that way for printers and shit.
If we're going to have more cable, we can do that.
But then this other length of it is coming out, hanging out here. This is my storage tank for water. Don't do that when it's live. Small mini split for my bedroom. The most important mini split is the one in my bedroom. I could live with a unheated house if my bedroom was warm. Right? Right. And my bidet works. What?
The basement would not freeze.
No, it only gets down to 50 degrees without any heat down here. The only heat was ever coming off of the exposed things. So maybe it would get down to like 48, but it would never go below freezing. I'd worry about the external rooms, like the bathrooms.
Yeah, they would freeze.
They would freeze. That would suck. Very much suck. Anyway, so that's basically... Is that all we did tonight? I don't have screws. I don't have small enough screws. I thought having 3/4 inch screws...
You were doing reviews when I got here.
I thought 3/4 inch screws would be short enough, but apparently if we're mounting that electrical panel to the wall, and even shorter screws, smaller pico. So yeah, that was tonight's...
And beefier.
Beefy, thick and chunky. So yeah, we're going across, going that way. One's going down. That's going outside. I unboxed the 36,000 in another section of this, I think. And Dan's like, "You got the old one," and I'm like, "I got the old what?" Oh God, so much running up and down. Anyway, back to my mini split install. That's a little fucked up there. Oh, she still got thing. Anyway, this is what's being printed right now. Pretty cool, right? Look at that. Isn't that cool? Anyway, this is number 1. You can see nibble number 1. It's printing number 6. We went through one spool of that. And it's PETG, which is good for outdoors. Let me show you. We go. It's up here just because it looks cool. I got the other 5. Well, I'm holding one. So the other 4 are over here. BAMP. They'll have their little imperfections in them, but overall, great success. Let me show you what they do. We have to go outside for this, and I don't have to go to the actual spot. That's fine, because it's kind of cold the fuck out. One of these is my, there we go, lights. Lights. I very rarely turn them up like that. Anyway, what happened was Dan came over and he traced my siding with cardboard, and then he made the inverse of it so that the electrical boxes that I bought will mount perfectly flush. So now we can drill into this and push against it. Like I'm leaning my whole weight on it now, and I'm not damaging the siding. How's that for custom fucking order? I don't think, it's not painted, so why is there like a line there? Anyway, yeah, so all the siding is pretty accurate. So where this is gonna be mounted, there'll be 2 of them over here, 2 on the other side, and then 1 for each of the other units. And we looked at that hose bib where the, what's it called? Where the hose comes out. Where the hose at? Hose, sprocket, hose, whatever. Where that hose thing comes out of the wall is in my floor between the 2x10 joists or 2x8 joists or whatever the fuck it is there. Because the plumbing is there and it just goes straight out. So we designed this hole for the major power for the air conditioning units for the mini splits to come in around the same height, which means we're going to be able to go up to the basement, move away some of the insulation, drill straight out, or we're going to actually go outside, mount this and drill straight in, and we're going to be able to put this up, put the box against it, knock out the holes. He had the box, he designed this perfectly to match the holes in the box as well, and it's just going to go whoop whoop, and then just be. It's the nicest way to see my house, by the way, right here. This is it. You have to be coming in through the door or sitting in a chair like here, and it's like, wow. And then once you walk away from there, it's not that interesting. Once you're like here, it's like, it's still nice. It's still nice here. But it's not like that. You don't have that view unless you're all the way over there. So yeah, $20 in PETG. The roll was like $21. And it's taken 9 hours and 23 minutes, each one of these. So I basically, as soon as one's done, usually wait like an hour, let the plate cool off, because that's that Neptune plate with the non-stick, and it just slides off, and then hit print again. Well, clean it with alcohol and then print again. So yeah, these are gonna make mounting those electrical boxes so nice. Because usually you have to like either cut away the thing, or you're gonna just put them on there, they're gonna sort of crush. You could literally just, it's perfect, it's perfect. It's perfect, perfect. Look how strong that was. I was just doing a test. Showing you how good it was. It's good. All right, music can pause for a second while we discuss more about the air conditioner / mini split install from Pioneer. Thank you, Pioneer, for sponsoring these videos and the entire conversion of my house from propane heat to fucking electric. So, things that have happened. I bought all that wood, 4x6s and 4x4s. I spent the time, let me climb on top of the boards here, to screw in this light bulb, which plugs in this bulb, which turns that one on. I cropped these down this much and this much. Ugh. So that's 10 inches off, and it's about 6 inches off. I could have left them 8 feet, but that makes it just slightly too difficult to work, especially on the tight areas. So I cut them down approximately that much. One was cut off more because this one's going to hold the 12,000 and this one's going to hold an 18,000. And after all my calculations on a piece of paper, figuring out the width of these, there and that, and how much I want 4 inches overhang and things like that. So I cut it, I think, 86 and 89. I picked the nicest pieces to go on the front. I did fuck up one. There's a split on one end that I didn't cut it off. I should have cut off the split. But those are done. So those are the 4 rails that the units are going to sit on. Well, the big units here are going to sit directly on those rails the way I designed it. Where's my notebook? It's actually Dan's notebook. There it is. So the way I figure it, with all the measuring and everything done, I need exactly 16 inches center to center is what that giant 36 sits on. I'm concerned most about that. That's the heaviest unit. So that's going to sit dead center of these pieces. The smaller units are narrower, but so what I'm going to do is the diagonal, not diagonal, but the bracing that's going front to back to hold the front and the back of the stand together, I'm going to put that exactly where those units will sit. So the fronts will be lined up on the main beam and the rears will just come out or sit wherever the hell they're sitting along this. And so now I've got to cut the 4x4s. This is my design. It's very simple. We're going to cut the legs different heights to when we get it out there. I'm going to make them all the same, a little extra long, and then I'm going to put it down, put a level on it, go, okay, I got to tuck 2 inches off, lay it down, cut off 2 inches with my saw, be done with it. So that should be everything. I did have to extend after calculating the width of this, and I want stability. Where the stones are outside, I had to extend. Well, let's just go outside. Camera's on my head. I'm not in a studio. Had to extend the gravel. So previously it was exactly 3 feet off the house. Now we're about 42 inches off the house. And I haven't completely finished leveling and raking this because of the slope of the hill here, where it's higher there and lower here. I've got a lot of gravel there, and I'm starting to get thin here where the paper's still showing through. But there's like there's still soft grass. Since this grass was still growing, it hasn't had the whole summer to die, or however long it's been. And there's a minimum distance. Another thing that I hadn't calculated when I built these is the back of the unit has to be at least a foot off of the house. because that's where it's sucking the air from and then blowing it out this way. Whether it's hot or cold air, it's coming through this way. And Dan said 12 to 14 inches, so I'm calculating for 12. When we actually get the stands in place on these, we could slide them in and out. We'll have a little bit of leeway, but these need to be, I can actually probably put this one down, 26 inches from the far back to the far front. I need 26 inches, which is why 36 doesn't work, because I need the gap and everything. Now, forget the fifth one. That one's not being used. It's just sitting there. I do still need to figure out this, because I don't need to put the stand legs all the way on the outside, because honestly the weight, the fuckload of weight will be the 36,000 sitting here. So if I really want to do the best thing, the leg on this side would be either directly under it or slightly offset to that side for stability. And so I don't have to bring these out. I could bring those legs in, or those pylons in, and we'll figure out how that goes. And it should clear that just fine, and that won't be an effect. Oh, there's a little spider. A little spider. It's a real little spider compared to what lives around here. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do the same for that side. I may or may not do that today. It's gonna be like 70 degrees, but it was 37 last night. So I have an electric heater on in my bedroom compensating until, because I haven't turned the propane on, because fuck that. The whole point of this is to not spend $1,000 on propane a month, or probably more like $1,400 at this point. So yeah, no, next steps, I can either cut the 2x6, because I know every 2x6 cut's gonna be exactly the same. It's 12.5 inches. I need a dozen 12.5 inch cuts so that I could take these two verticals and go boop, 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 and stitch them all together. So maybe I'll do that first. That's the easy cut. Yes, I am using the D100s, by the way, for those people who are like, Zeos just reviews it, says it's great, and they're never... I really like, this is enough Ray Brown to fill the basement. So, in an attempt to be both lazy yet brilliant, so here's what I've got. I cut all of these, which, by the way, just a reminder, check the level, the plumb, no, was... Check how fucking perpendicular your saw is before you start, because all of these are cut slightly like 1 degree off on both ends. I'm not gonna fix it, not gonna go back and recut them. I fixed it for the next core. They're close enough. I just noticed when I put the wood in there, because you see what I did, I clamped a spare piece of wood to the sliding block, because it has those extenders. So I clamped it in place and I slid it where I needed it to be, so that I could just put the wood in there, cut, put the wood in there, cut. I didn't have to measure 12.5 inches 7 times. I just hit it. And the thing is, I hit it, and then there was like staples in the back, so I flipped the wood this way. And when I hit it, there was a gap, and I'm like, oh, fuck. So just remember to there's like screws, you unscrew it, you level it with this. Here, I actually still have the square in there. Put a nice square in there. If you have a compound miter sliding, slide the blade along it, adjust, slide the blade. When the blade is like shh, it doesn't move anything, then you're good. Anyway, so what I'm doing now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 7 12.5 inch pieces because it's an 8-foot piece. If I was cutting 12-inch pieces, I would have gotten 8 of them, but I got a little piece of scrapped. What these are gonna do is, obviously, they're holding both sides of the rails apart, the correct distance for the 36,000. The 36,000 doesn't need these for support. It needs them to hold the things together. Actually, the units themselves are actually going to act as a lateral support as well. But the 18 and the 12 need their rear legs. Like if this is going into the 4x6, their supports are not going to make it to the next one. They're going to end up here or here on the 12 and 18. So these have to go precisely where those legs end up. And I'm not 100% sure how I wanted to measure it, because the distance from the end of the unit, the distance from the end of the unit to where that actual hole is varies. Like it's slightly further left to bias for the weight on these and that. And then I realized brilliantly, well, I have the units sitting here, just put them in the orientation they're going to go on this here, and then just put a tape measure across all the legs and then measure it, and then just transfer that, because I have to get these mounted precisely where they need to be, and then we're going to do outside legs. So I'm going to slide this because this is going to be on this one, which is what I'm concerned with right now because my bedroom's on that one. This has got to go over a bit, and then I'm going to slide the 12,000 next to it, get it perfectly lined up as if it's going to be on that, and then measure hole, this many inches apart, and then calculate where that's sitting on here, and then I can mark this for the supports. Because again, the 36,000 doesn't care, the 12,000 cares. And it's gonna be like here, so if like I'm doing like consistency on the ends, I'm getting to it. So I was using the laser level to line these up, and then I'd like the brain kicks on occasionally. I just brought the piece of wood that I was gonna mark. Instead of measuring it and then bring it over there and mark it with the measurement, I just brought the wood here, and I've measured across from here from this surface to here is 11 inches. I took pictures, I sent it to Dan, the IT man. He's like, yeah, that's great. So now I get to do this, physically kick this piece of wood around on the floor and back up and like look at it and go, okay, where's my bias? Where's my balance? Where am I putting the legs? So I thought giving more space on that side would be better. Now I don't think that's the way it's gonna, I think looks wise, and keep in mind, there's some looks to this. Like it's very functional, but it's gotta still look good. You know, if you ever go to sell this house, which I never will because my family doesn't sell shit, you know, it's gotta look good. So that's there. That's there. I like this. So now I just gotta get my magic marker and my square and just go boom, boom, because this is I wrote on it with magic marker, this says master front. So that's the master bedroom side, there's an office side, and that's the front piece of lumber. And I wrote on the back side of the front piece of lumber, so that's gonna be facing that way. So I'm not gonna write master front and let you see it. So I know from the marks on it, here's office rear, so that's the piece with all the knots. This one's master rear because it's a goddamn disaster. So that's gonna go on this side. Either way, I need to mount those cross braces to bolts, so I'm gonna mark it. I think I'm gonna have to take the drill press off of there. All my tools have to end up on the floor because these pieces are so big and heavy. Lifting something up to use it is just not feasible. So this will probably come down on the floor. I did buy a very long drill bit, but I don't know if this even has the throw. I only have one. I'm gonna take apart the light ring, but I wanna drill straight through this. Even for the screws mounting this into this, what I'm probably gonna do is get the right size drill bit, get as far as I can. And then once I've got that much going, I'll put on the long drill bit on the hand tool and go whoop, finish it, and then turn around and drill right back for the mounts. It's gonna be interesting. I've got some big heavy duty, big honkers. Where are the big honkers? They're over here. These fucking 6-inch headlocks. These were originally purchased for the legs only. I do have these even bigger honkers. Maybe I'll use these for the legs. I have enough of them. And then I bought a phone call burp. All right, so now we have the marks. I just did the straight edge, boom, 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 boom. I know where the actual units are sitting. And since I know where those units are sitting, I know where there's supports going this way. So now I don't want the legs to interfere, because if a support and a leg are on the same thing, then I'm doing double drilling and I don't want it. So I laid out these two random pieces of 4x4 that are not pressure treated, and I'm just visually figuring out, okay, I can miss the support. If I support directly across this, which I probably will, and I only have 4 marked and I have 7 cut, so I'll be able to do like a support cap here. Once I know where those 4 are going, well, at least those 2 have to be there. Everything else I can sort of just free flow and free form. But the legs have to go where they avoid coming in contact with the cross members. So now I'm figuring out legs where they look good. I'm gonna mark it, and then I'll figure out where the other diagonal supports are going. If I'm doubling any of them up, my plan was to double some up. Like I might double this one up here because it's near enough to the edge. I'll double both that are near enough to the edge up, and then I could just go, you know, maybe dot, has to be there, doesn't really have to be there. So I could just separate them up, so we'll be good. So this is like stand back and like appreciate. Also, the weight of this unit is all here. So getting that near that, it's not gonna like tip if I go too far in. Like that's pretty heavy on its own. But yeah, we're just doing things. I like visually looking at it. Battery's probably gonna die. Instead of going with 7 pieces, because I was like, why? I have plenty of this 2x6. I had 4 pieces total. I cut another one, so now I have 2, 2, 2, and 2. These have to go under that one. This one sort of could be broken apart, but why bother? And I don't mind if it's smaller and then further gap here. I want to keep the center open. And calculating where the feet are, I went outside, and I'm going to get to move those bricks so far in, like the actual stands. And then I'm going to be able to slide it on the platform a little bit. Like if I need to bias it further. I want to get that 36. All right, new Wasabi power batteries for this segment. We'll see if it dies in 3 seconds. So I decided that instead of going with 7 pieces of 2x6, which is dumb, since I'm doubling up the end and I'm doubling up the end, just double up that one and then double up this one. So I cut some more of it, and now I have 8 that I'm going to stick together. So I'll have 4. The less stuff, I want more airflow. I want air to flow, so less is more, even though it probably won't matter at all since they're tucked into the unit. I do want to keep that gap open. I've marked the wood itself. Haven't started drilling any of that. I did go outside though, and now that I've basically picked where the legs are going, I have so much more room to move those countersink stones in, and then I could slide them around, because where that finally rests that has to be determined. I can do that once I have the unit built. I could plop it down and go over. I just have to adjust the legs, which adjusting legs is going to be a thing. So here's the hardware I bought. Ignore everything else in this table, just this. Well, I didn't buy all this. I bought, I think 16 of these brackets. These are painted outdoor brackets, corner braces. 3 screws on each side. And for these, I actually originally bought these fucking monstrously thick boys. These are 10 by 1.25 Power Pro, no pre-drilling. Like here, for an example, here's 1.25 inch drywall screw that I like to use, and here is this Gonk Pro, just absurdo one. So I should be able to use these on the brackets, unless I just decide to go ham and just use nothing but these 4-inch screws, the R4 GRK fastener. I love these. These are the only screws I buy, like these type of screws, deckmate screws. I buy the drywall screws for like hanging a painting or something, but these are the big ones. And for the supports that way, I want to use nothing but these, because I bought a whole box of them. For the legs, which I still have to like actually work out how I think I want to mount them, I'm going to be using the big honker 6-inch here. I have to open this. I want to show you a tool. Actually, can I just rip this open? Yeah, I could break it. I was going to show you a tool that's cool because it cuts plastic and cardboard like a saw. But fuck it. So these are interesting because there's no thread here, just here. So I would essentially drill through the leg enough for this thread to pass through it, and then not pre-drill the 4x6 and just go burp and hold it in place. Probably 2 per leg. And like that might be enough, but at the same point, since I offset it from this, I could legitimately pre-drill a little bit, like with a Forstner bit, if you don't know what a Forstner bit looks like. Because this is still like, it's constant work and brainstorming simultaneously. I think that's my Forstner set over there. Hold on. My basement tools are going to get a big reorganization once this project is over, because I need the floor. Well, we're getting electrical here, so that's going to change everything. Once there's electrical distribution and I can actually have my tools plugged in. You know, this is a Forstner bit. I'll show you a big one. And what it basically does is it drills a hole, but unlike a hole saw, which usually leaves the core material, it removes everything in the center. And obviously this big one doesn't matter for us, but the littler ones, I like to call them little guys, like this thing here. It's like a 9/16. If you drill down into a big chunky piece of wood, you then have a flat surface to apply a normal screw to. So I could drill this down through half of those 4x6s, and then I can easily thread this down. So instead of it being a 4x6 that this 4-inch screw has to go through, I can make it essentially narrower. So if I go down 2 inches, well, 2 inches would leave 1.5 inches because the dimensional lumber is fucking stupid. But I'd have 1.5 inches that this has to go through, and then this will go through and grab the other side, and it'll be a lot easier. So I'm going to end up I should probably have got more of these. I have a ton of them, but they're never the same size. Like you keep burning the same size one. Hold What size is this? See, this would actually work. So this is the smallest one I could use, and it's brand new. It's a 7/16. So if I pre-drill 7/16 at a certain depth, boom, 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 I can then just take a regular screw, and as long as I can get the tip, which, how deep are these tips? Because I actually bought the $5 GRK Fasteners T25. As long as I could reach down through that hole with a slight extension. Where did my slight extensions go? I started organizing. Here, this is my like super narrow extension. If that will fit through a hole made by this, which it looks like it should, then I could just go straight into the wood and then drill it down. So these are all going to become useful things. So yeah, no, it's coming along. Oh, also I bought these, and I didn't buy these with any specific purpose in mind, but they're super fucking useful galvanized steel right angles, just like those, only smaller and with bracing. So those could actually flex. These will not flex. So I could either go to the bottom of the legs and up, which I think is what I'm going to do with these. I think these are going to go against the verticals of the leg and up. If I do that, I can make it so they're adjustable. Maybe, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll put these in place here, which they're going to be a little bit longer than that. And then just drill small screws in for the legs before I put the units on top. Just get it to sit. Once it sits level, if I have to unscrew this and move it, once it sits level, then I go with the gonks right through the fucking beam to hold it in place. It's a thought. It's a thought and a process. We'll see how I feel about it once I'm going to assemble the ladder. Originally, I was going to build just the rear arch with the legs and then the front arch with the legs and combine them, but that's too much effort. I'm gonna build a whole top panel and then cut the legs, all of them extra long. I got plenty of 4x4s, and this way I can go outside, get the stone as level as I can with tamping it down, and then accommodate for it with different lengths of wood. That's the hard part. The legs and the leveling is gonna be the hard part. This is all the easy part and the fun part. It's fun. Look, it takes a big man to admit he's made a mistake. So here's what happened. I realized when I swapped the 18K next to 36. This is the orientation. And I looked at the wood and I'm like, wait, if I'm looking at the back side of the front, oh. So I rotated it, didn't flip it. I still have the marker side here, but now I've made it so I'm looking at the backside, so if it was to stand up, it's under the units. I didn't do that for this one, which means basically I'm keeping the outside measurements, and then the inside measurements, I just have to reverse their distance. So if this is whatever it is, 26, make it from there, here 26, and make it whatever that was, move it here. It's going to be a simple marker exchange. Nothing damaging happened, but I should just explain that that's the way it should be. This wood, when it's finally in place, this wood will be here. There, that's the fascia that's going to be seen by the world. You know, it's got a marker on it. And then this is where I'm marking it. So that makes more sense with the slants on the edges this way. That one, I had the slants on the edges this way. Should have fixed it. Anyway, doing this one up, thought I could transfer the measurements, at least of the outside. But here's the thing, there's a visual bias where there's a bunch of shit on this side that has to be cleared. And over here, I'm just like edging it. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't need 10 3/4. That needs way less than that. So again, we're back down to how it visually will look sitting on top of this. And then I got to make sure I got enough space in there, and then I could do my marks just like I did, only this time correct. And I had contemplated for a quick second getting a Simpson strong tie, which let me show you what that looks like. Because Dan didn't know what they are. Dan doesn't work in wood. So I'm sort of like here, I was like this. Because I realized if I used one of these, this would be against the 4x6, and this would be where the double. I didn't intend to double up the wood when I started this. The double up wood would sit in the middle. You screw into the side, you screw into the wood, and that way the fascia, the actual part of the wood you see, would have no screws at all. It would just be pure wood. You'd be like, how is it even holding it up? But I think I'm going to forego that, because that doesn't actually put the wood to the wood. It's just the wood to the strong tie and the strong tie to the wood. So I'm just going to still drill it and go through it. Yeah, as long as I make that look pretty. So now I'm just sort of like eyeballing the distance here, and then I might, Because this is a big unit and it's gonna have annoying things, I might have to give a little more berth, but I think we're right about there. Right about there. Quickly between tracks. So I transferred the lines to the bottom of the beam because I got to bring them around to the front. Because I got to pre-drill those Forstner bits. So I took my straight edge, taped it, measured where I need to come in and where I need to come up. I'm going to mark the beams, boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom. And then I'm going to get the drill press and drill down precisely as far as I need to. A ton of times. Is there a train? Anyway, brought the drill press down. I set, there's a depth control. I set it to 1 1/4 inches, but then I actually had to lower it because I was scraping. So I set it to about 1 3/8 inches. So when I pull this down, it will stop precisely where I want it to stop, which is good. I had originally those on the floor, but then I'm like, oh, I need to move this thing around. So now, I'm a little rolly dolly on 4 pieces of 2x6 and then another inch thick piece of wood because I need to be level with this, and I could move this more, but I need that bed to be good. So now we're going to slide this. I just did little dots, blue dots, and they're not the easiest thing to see. I'm hoping I don't get past the balance point yet, because at some point this side's going to weigh more than that side, and that's going to be bad. So I'm going to have to do, because it's 4 sets. It's that set, this set, then those sets are closer together. So I'll end up picking it up, reversing it. But yeah, no, it's just looking like this. Line it up. Use a laser if you can. And then just halfway and up. And then the rest of the way and up. And that's a hole. I did that 4 times there. I'm gonna do that 3 more times here, then 4 times there, then 4 times there, then 4 times there, and 4 times there, and 4 times there, and 4 times there. All right, I got all my big holes drilled down 1 1/4 inches. By the way, the thing came loose, so I was drilling. I was like, it's not going down as far, so I had to retighten the thing. And then I just built this. Yes, it's a 4x4, but you see there's a hole through it. So I drilled with the drill press as far as I could, and then I continued it so that I could use a hand drill. See how wiggly wobbly is? Because I want to continue these holes with a small bit. So the big fuck off screws that I'm going to use, I'm worried I'm going to go in and it's not going to be straight and it's going to go crooked. So I'm going to pre-drill the rest of the way, and I basically needed a drill press, but the drill press won't support a drill bit this long, although I guess if I cut it, I could do that. So now I have this, so I'm going to be able to run this through here. And then that makes this basically a handheld drill press. So if I go, this is my first test of this, if I give this the center, and I can feel the center, slide the block down, and then it's just a matter of up. And of course I can't see it because there's shit in there. Well, I assume that came out the other side. I'll do all 4 on one of these. This is actually a good one to do because this is not going to be lining up with the big air conditioner. Well, this lines up with the big air conditioner, which means it's not supporting it. But I'll do all 4 of those, turn the board over, and then double check the measurements. Make sure it isn't going wacky sideways, because the screws have to get through this and really grip onto the ends of those, the 2x6s. So this is just going to make it a lot easier for that to happen. Wish this wasn't like a wiggly woggly, but you know, we'll see. So let's do that 32 more times. All right, a couple of these went crooked, just even with the block, and the bit was getting wibbly, and I was pushing real hard, and I was like, I don't want this to snap in my hand or eye. So now I'm just driving these in to about that point, which keeps them from coming out the other side. But at least I can line them up. Now the hard part, because I gotta figure out how the fuck I'm doing it, is I have to line up the 2x6s in a way, probably on the floor, where I can screw these together. Actually, you know what? I'm dumb. I'm dumb as hell. Everything I just did, I have to do again. Because these are both the fronts. I'm prepping the fronts of both sides. Not the front and back. Everything I just did, oh, my spine is going to be killing me. I have to now do again. Well, what I'll do is I'll line up the front and rears, and I'll transfer the markings over so that they're directly in line. Well, I'll do it so that they're, you know, I'll do it the correct way this time, so that the V, it makes this sort of shape, in and then out, because those two pieces will be lining up. Oh my God, I'm gonna need your drill bits, because that one's got the screws in it, this one's got the screws in it, but they're the two different halves, and oh God. Anyway, I'll come back when this is all done. Think you guys get it. Making the legs is gonna be a pain in the ass. It's still early though, it's only, wow, it's 3:30. Well, I'm gonna be closing up the doors and windows soon. I could probably get all this prepped today and assembled possibly today. 36,000 makes a great table. But in the interim, I'm gonna go rub my back. Your 6:45 update. I have got this put together. Turns out there was quite a gap. Should have filmed it. So if I just put the two ends like against each other, it was like vagina shaped. So I'm like, ugh. So I had to find the shortest ones. Even though I use this system, some of these just are like minutely shorter than the others. Shortest ones on the outside, get it lined up using the big square here. And then the gap here, squeeze the hell out of it with the clamps. I actually shoved the screwdriver, did that side first. And then once I had one side attached tight, clamp, clamp, clamp like a motherfucker, and then drive it in. Also, dead blow hammer for aligning things. So now I've made something quite heavy, and I've got to move this off of here, which I guess since I started doing this while telling you it's quite heavy, and you're gonna be like, oh, Zeos is gonna move something heavy. So now I have to do it on camera, which I was not planning to do. Also, I only have 2 of these long clamps. I thought I had more of long clamps. God bless the 4-foot table, by the way. I would hate to be doing this on the floor. Where am I putting this? I guess leaning it up against that will work. So let's get her off without destroying the table. She's caught on something. Holy crap. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're solid. We're great. This table's gonna fucking go. Oh God. Oh my God. Yeah, I overbuilt it. That's the word of the day. So now I'm gonna make it so if I lean this, it's not gonna lean on that metal, is it? And it's gonna lean on my shitter pipe. That's my toilet for my master bathroom. I don't want to lay this on the floor because then I gotta stand it back up to move it, because it just walks. Like, just look, it walks. We could walk anywhere. Let's go to Chicago. Live stream me slowly walking a giant heavy thing. Where the fuck am I put? Just let it fall onto the 36K. All right, I'm stopping the camera so I can figure this out, because I really don't want to. Oh, that moves. No, I don't lean it on that. This thing's too much. All right, so it's the next day. Clean up a bit. This is the completed unit for this side, and that is the completed unit for the other side, which you watched me push. So now it's legs time. It's leg day, everybody. It's leg day, and I'm live streaming, so there's another GoPro on my head. Hi, how you doing? And so yeah, I won't be filming as much with this, but I'm sure it's gonna be a fucking mess anyway. Oh God, it's loud. It's like 3 a.m. All the lights started coming on. So I finished this earlier today on stream. Here's what a leg looks like. These are so heavy, these 4x4s, Jesus. I pre-drilled 2 holes here, and you can see I angled the top, and I actually pre-drilled here and have a screw coming in from the inside. So these legs, which are marked, this is front right, this is master, this isn't not the same one. It's gonna go like about here, and I'm gonna clamp them real hard. I'm gonna drill probably the center one in first. So it'll be center. I'm not pre-drilling. I could pre-drill where it's going into the 4x6, but I think it'll probably be stronger, and they're designed to drive directly. So I'll have 1 come from the rear, 2 come from the front, and that'll be our legs. And they're all the correct lengths and different sizes. Basically both sides over there are 1 inch. Here, they're actually lined up. There's a difference in height, and here's a difference in height. This should be real. Some of these should be real close. Yeah, it's like 3/8 of an inch and then 1 inch. So And that's it. Tomorrow, when it's actually supposed to be raining tomorrow, which probably better than bringing it out today anyway. But I'll drag this fucking nightmarish monster. It can't weigh more than 85 pounds. I'll drag this 85-pound thing, and then these individual very heavy legs up there, and I'll get them in place, and I'm gonna have to screw the back ones in place on the ground. Actually, I'm just gonna screw them all in place on the ground, and then lift the whole thing up there, and then pray, and then get the level out, and then hope that everything's good. Worst case scenario is I pull it off and just pack stone or clear stone to raise and lower the things. But yeah, and then this one I haven't cut the legs for yet. I only get 3 legs out of an 8-foot length. So there's a shorter one. And I shocked it to 19 degrees because I calculated out precisely how far this thread's going to stick through so it doesn't come out through the angle. So it just gives it a little bit, just a little touches. It's the little touches. It's this. Didn't have to be here, but it's there. It'll be nice. It'll be nice. So do that shit tomorrow or the next day or next day. All right, gloves, jacket, hood, legs, thing. What side is this? Right rear. So this is this leg. Blumpkin. Boom. I want to make Blumpkin a term everyone says. Like, Blumpkin. Don't look that up. There's still leaves in the trees. You'll be able to judge because you can see the look at the colors. Like, I don't know if you could see how beautiful that one tree is. It's always the most beautiful tree. Then all those leaves go and fall down in one day. So we still have, like, I can still see which trees are the dead trees. That one's dead. That one's dead. We'll see how long this takes as we go around and do the rest of this. So I've got these all up here. Use my massive man strength to carry them. LF. Left front. Oh yeah, go in there. Actually, I need to clear that out. If I put that in there and it doesn't sit straight, it's because the bottom of that's not flat. Right front, left rear. Now, there's a little bit of a tweaking I can do once I get everything installed properly. I'm just putting them in here to show off. Once I get everything installed properly, where I can clear away some of the gravel or add more gravel. That one's not bad. Yeah, I'll give that little bit of rock, like it's like slightly off. This is slightly off this way. None of that's gonna matter once it's bolted to the thing. I feel level. What's going on? Yeah, this corner is all fucked up. These things are made out of the cheapest stone, and like you could literally scrape it out. And if it's in the corners, it's gonna fuck up the sit. So sweep it out of the corners. Any giant spiders in here today? No? Good. So, I'm basically gonna put it all on all 4 legs and walk this thing over here. I managed to get up with in one hand. I'm like, this thing weighs 90 pounds. And I was trying to like walk it, and then I just went, fuck it, and picked it up. Because a man, you know, a man. This is a pretty face. That'll get it first. This is left front. I need to get my clamps. I didn't actually mark. I didn't actually mark. You could see where it's supposed to line up. Yeah, I don't have an actual like line, so that's gonna be a thing. But I got a fully charged battery in my little Milwaukee Fuel. I can set this to level 3 because we're going to be driving directly into wood with these, and you'll see exactly the height it's going to be. It should be the top of that, which should put the big unit, which will be sitting literally at the height of this, just under this window. Units will have to come up with Dan. I can't do that on my own. The little one I could bring up and just put down there because it's a 12,000, but the big one, Not doing that. Two additional issues. Number one, I'm going to be making a canted levered load this way, so the whole thing's going to try to fall over, which is why I'm using that leg to hold it currently. Secondly, I don't have a way to 90 this or to get it straight or plumb, so I got to go back in the basement and get a tool to do that. So since I'm screwing the center one, because there's one coming from the back to the top, there's one going into the bottom, then there's one in the center. As long as I get it roughly squared, get that center one in, then I can twist a leg using the square and put the second one in, put the rear one in. The rear one I'll probably wait till the front two are in, flip the whole thing over and bang down. Just drilling up is bad. So let's tighten these as hard as we could fucking go, because that's this is the first time I'm doing this. Got a little piece of wood to sort of hold it, and now we pray and we see how good these screws actually are. Yep, we're lined up. Okay, that the fucks given was 0. I'm gonna actually lower this down to 2, and let's double check our square. That was, these were expensive screws too. So you could go on the bottom here and just, that's actually pretty, nope, too far. Okay, bring this over and down. Too much. Good. That's about as perfectly square as we're ever gonna get. So I guess we'll see if this one's as easy. Yeah, no, those are monsters. Okay. 2/3 of that is attached. I'm not doing the bottom. I could probably go on the bottom and go up. I'm not doing it until we flip it over. I'll do the same on that side. I'll come back when we're flipping the flippy flips. All right, I forgot to mention something in the previous segment when I was making the legs. I didn't film the leg making, and I was being dumb and trying to use a level to figure out the height differences. And I'm like, got a piece of wood and a level on it. I'm like lifting it up and measuring. I'm like, this is dumb. I have a laser level. Put the laser level right in the middle, piece of the plastic pipe conduit, put it down, marked, and then saw that ones were only off by 1/4 inch, so I pushed it down. And so I had 3 different heights. So yeah, I did a piece of pipe and just measuring the difference between them. And once I had picked that was the tallest one, I then made one 1 inch longer. These are both 1 inch longer, and that one only had to be 3/8 of an inch longer. That's how I did that. Just laser levels are the best, and I haven't gotten it through my brain yet to be like, laser levels. So it's actually pulling through the wood. So now it's the last one. I drilled the bottom 2 in. I'm either going off the top here, which looks perfect, or the bottom here, which also looks perfect. Make sure the clamps aren't in the way until it pulls in and makes it flush. So now we can knock the clamps off. We could let this is not holding it now it's all weight bias, but now we have to screw in the back sides. So let's roll it again. She's stiff. It's a stiff boy. Don't need a clamp for that. We're holding the other 2 sides. Going a little bit gentler so I don't bust through the top of the sloped wood. You can see I split it here. Yeah, a little bit of cracking from where that rear screw came through, but nothing 30 years in the sun won't fix. So now that's it. This should mega table. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh, it's so heavy. I'm lifting it from the wrong side. So now it wiggles and wobbles. It's the ground ain't level, but also the legs aren't level because it's designed for this. So let me double check to make sure I'm facing the correct orientation, which I should still be able to see letters. Yeah, master front, master rear. Let's brute force this fucking thing up there. Pick it all the way up. Oh yeah. Oh no, this is very heavy. Do not attempt. Oh, is my phone in my pants? I'm putting it not on the holes. So we're up, but not in the holes. Now I gotta shimmy, shimmy, slide. This does not look like it's gonna, probably slight warping in the woods. Like this might not be perfectly parallel, but even if it's off by a little bit, it's gonna kink it. So if I'm basing everything off this one, we're perfectly lined up to fall into this one. This one's way out. In fact, I can see this leg is bowed, and that's tight, so I'm not gonna be able to modify that. I'm gonna move the leg. Let's give this a little twist. So now that's straight on there. So these two are just gonna come over and fall in. Now we have to adjust the fronts as needed. So this one's gotta come out. Oof. I'm shouldering it a bit. We've also got, so now that's about right for that one. And this one's just a slight like, 1/4 inch. There we go. Kick the rocks back. And now it should just slide over and fall down. 1, 2. The rear ones are in. This is gonna need a little bit more persuasion. 3. And this one's gotta go that way. A bit more, governor. Okay. 4. Oh, God. Of course, the first test is just stand on it. I'm gonna grab onto to not die. All right. Had the urge. Yeah, that's a platform to literally write home about and show my mommy what I made in art class. I can't step past this point because as strong as this is, I'm still heavier than the weight of it, so it'll just go cantilever wee. But you know, that ain't gonna fucking move. So when the winds come in the winter, like they do from that direction, bolstering the side of this house, this shouldn't move anywhere. How do I get off of this? Maybe I'll shut the camera off because it's gonna be real lame. It's gonna be real lame. So I'm looking at this and going, that's pretty high. And then I'm looking at the thing and I'm like, it's 31 inches. And I'm like, oh, from the ground up, I could cut all these down. So this is a 31-inch platform off the ground. 30 is like overkill. So I might roll this thing over, get my circular saw and cut all these legs down 3 inches. Let me think, how much could I cut this down? Yeah, no, we can go down to 28 inches off the ground. I can cut 4 inches off each of these legs. As long as I cut exactly 4 inches off each leg, then it'll all stay the weird level that I'm doing. So that's good. So yeah, no, I would call that a fuck up, but I won't. And there you go. And if I use my circular saw, I can just go whoop. I don't have to put this like on a chop saw. I'll have to go through twice, I think. Circular saw will only cut through partial of this. So let's whip out the saw and adjust the height now that we know it's perfect. All right, I'll count this as a mistake because it's my bad, which means I would have even been able to get, we're still, I think, no, we would have been under 2 feet of thing. I could have gotten all 4 of these out of one piece. So my bad. However, working with the Milwaukee saw, I figured out, first I drew the line, I'm gonna cut 4 inches off. And then I'm like, you know, this is stupid because then you can't like look at it through here and with it. So I'm gonna put a guide on, which is this piece of cutting board, because cutting board for everything. And then I realized I don't have to mark the 4-inch mark. I don't have to see where I'm gonna cut. I just gotta make sure the guide rests perfectly on this. So I'm gonna mark for the 5.5-inch guide. And then once this is in place and square, then I don't have to worry about anything. Oh, I need to keep this for when I do the legs on the other side, the one for over there. So I just reverse the ruler and I'm using backwards, so 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. So that was my 4-inch mark. Now I can readjust this and make it the 5.5 inch mark. Boom. Mark. 5.5 inch mark. And then just do a slide. Well, we could do one side, clamp it, and just double check that it's, yeah, we're good. Nice and tight. So now when I put this here, you're gonna see we'll skirt. Are we gonna skirt the inside of the line? Nope, we're right on it. And that's not moving. I shouldn't have to lift this, but I think I'm gonna. Nah, I won't lift it, it'll be fine. So, holding over. Get your foot covered in sawdust. We've made it through about 3/4 of the way. From there, I'll be able to, actually, I could probably just go down, actually. So now I'm 3/4 of the way on two sides. This way, I can't really do without moving the thing, but we're so close to done, I'll just get the blade in there and complete the cut. So, we'll do this a few times. And then it'll be even more stable. So, cut that way, cut this way, cut this way. Now that everything's out of the way, do that again, cut the final bit. Plenty of guide for the blade. Just go straight down. I don't like that this is here and this is here. It's like I want to push one and not the other. All my beautiful work. That's right, we got these cool little bricks I could throw at people. Fun. Now the color has been taken out of abysmal mode. Let's look at the trees again. Because in the basement, in my review desk, it's on a certain color palette. And here on the other room, the speaker review space is another color palette. And it's all fucked up if you don't change it. So, I might start filming in RAW and do my own color corrections, but God almighty, that's effort. This one's got a bit of a hanging Legion of Death here. I may have to actually give that a manual trim. Hold on. That's a thing. That's a thing I didn't want to do today, but there we go. Clean. I could carve an ice statue with this thing. Great, that rolled all the way to the back. Those are fun. I feel like my kids are just gonna have cubes of pressure treated lumber, and that's gonna be their toys, just building blocks of pressure treated lumber. So now I'm covered in sawdust like I was 2 days ago, which I still haven't washed that pair of pants because I didn't think I was cutting anything today, so it wasn't like, oh, I gotta obviously gotta do that. Let's roll this. Rear. All right. So now that we've cut that shorter, that actually might have to move back again because the angle was coming further down and further over. Gunshots? But not like urban gunshots, country gunshots. Gunshots for fun. All right. Phone out of my front pocket because I'm gonna get crushed. Also, it's weird because these aren't centered because this is where the big unit's going, so it's a bigger gap than where the small unit's going. So picking it up from here makes that side actually heavier, so. Oh, crushing my knees. It's like Rocky training. I'm not gonna try to get it in the holes again. Just get it up and then slide it into the hole. So let's see. Over. Oh, it fell into the hole. Yep, this has to move slightly. Just like a little bit of a, it's actually lined up, it's just this one's got to go too. Why does this one need so much adjustment? There we go. All right. That's much easier to get on and off of now. That's a lateral, that's 300 pounds of lateral force. All the wiggles. All right, cool. Cool. That was a 20-minute correction. Now it's done. And it's still level. God, that looks level. Here's the thing, it looks more level than the siding on the house. So I'm not gonna measure it. You wanna save yourself a ton of heartache and psychosis. At some point, if it looks level enough and it's not really going to affect the end product, stop measuring it. Some of you, it might be very hard to do, but trust. The only thing I might check is the level this way. I think we're good. Yeah, that's on there. And this is just far enough away from where the edge, this is my concern. This is why I shifted everything over. I don't want to have, you know, veranda and wood, big machine. Step it back a foot plus. Let's go back another bit over here. It's going to sit right here. Here's where the big unit's going to sit. Little unit's going to sit there. Okay, I love how my ground is also groundhog holes. That's fun. You can see them here, which scares the shit out of me, because here's the problem, and this is a legit concern. If the groundhogs decide to not go, because I've been trying to kill them and poison them and all sorts of other things. What, my tree cracking and falling down? Did you hear that on the camera? That was like a tree breaking and falling down. Soft spots like that, like I can almost feel them here. If they decide to tunnel under one of these legs, at any point, it might just go, whoop, well, it'll sink and move. I'm just gonna have to be very, very responsible for figuring out where and when. If I wanna prevent that, one of the ways I could do it, I get a big ass drill bit, like a 2.5, 3 foot drill bit, drill holes every 4 inches, probably even less than every 4 inches, and just put rebar down into the ground. Make sort of a cage that they can't get under this, like Tremors logic. We've all watched Tremors, because that's new. I literally just I'm stepping and I'm like, why is it so soft? Why is it so soft here? It's fucking groundhogs. They're fucking assholes, and they're fat assholes too. So they haven't eaten any of my electrical lines or anything coming out of the house, but this is a new structure and it's Tremors logic. If they dig it out, it's gonna go and fall down. And this has always been the worst. This bench is just, this sort of like came with the house. Like, look at this. Look at that fucking burrow. Ugh. What I gotta do is, I gotta go. Wow. This is the worst it's ever been. I gotta go load my truck up with some dirt, fill all these holes in, gravel and rough shit. That's fucked. That's extra fucked now. I just stepped on it in a fucked way. Finding that, I'm sure it goes here also. And I've tried like water, but the water just ends up somewhere out there, like straight down the hill maybe. The ultimate way to kill these fuckers is gonna be, I'm gonna put seafoam in the diesel tractor, get a 4-foot flexible extension and a bunch of dirt. Bring the tractor here, hook up the exhaust to the flexible hose, jam it down the hole, cover with dirt, run the tractor. Seafoam makes a very visible smoke out of your exhaust. And then make sure there's no smoke coming out. Keep running the tractor, because the tractor's a diesel, it'll run forever. Just put up the fucking RPMs and just sit there. See if there's any smoke. Wherever you see smoke, drive your pickup truck, or, well, probably the pickup truck loaded with dirt, fill in the hole till no smoke comes out. Drive to the next hole that has smoke come out of it. Is essentially what I'm gonna end up doing. That sucks. We're way too close to like 36,000 BTU air conditioners, and the only thing cooling and heating my house now. Now it's personal. Now it's personal.